Yeah, hello, this is Dave from cheapbooks.com playing World of Tanks. The tank I am playing is the FV4202. This is a British Tier 8 tank. I don't know if this is a heavy tank or a medium tank. I think this, I really don't even, yeah, this is a medium tank. Because I confuse it with the A45, which I'm pretty sure is a heavy tank. I'm pretty sure this is a medium tank. It's a Tier 8 medium tank. It's also a premium tank. I haven't had it very long. I've only played a few games. Probably 5 or 10 games I've played in this tank. You'll notice that I put Hunter on the side, and I put the pirate logo. I've been putting this on a bunch of my tanks. Very interesting story behind this. I've seen 2 other tanks that since then have also put Hunter on the side, and I actually killed one of them. I had a Super Pershing against his Super Pershing, excuse me, and it was interesting that I was able to kill him, and we both had our Hunter tanks. But this is what I want on the side of my tanks. However, they're adding a new bonus system for the inscriptions and logos, and I don't like the bonuses that come with the Hunter or the Pirate, so I stopped putting it on my tanks. So this is Halluf, and I usually come to this position so I can monitor this little channel over here and help out my allies. Many years ago I used to play and I used to cross all the time, but kind of got bored with it. I suppose I might do it with a light tank, but I don't play the light tanks anymore. I have 100 tanks and I only have maybe 10 or 15 light tanks, so I play every tank. I don't play the light tanks as often as I used to. I used to just play light tanks constantly. One of the things you're going to notice, it's very important, look at the yellow circle. The yellow circle is your draw circle. You can only see tanks within that yellow circle. If the enemy is beyond that, then you will not be able to see them. No, you can see them on the mini-map, but you won't be able to see them even if they're spotted. For example, there's a rock over here. And look at the mini-map, and look at the yellow circle, and look at the yellow line that crosses with that yellow circle. If there is an enemy tank hiding behind there, which there often is, you will not see him even if he's spotted. So it's too far away, and sometimes I have to move forward, which means going into a dangerous position down the slope. There is a game where I saw a tank disappear, and that's when I really figured out to pay more attention to that. So this is a key spot right here, and obviously off in the distance on B4 and B5 that you can't hit those targets, which is another big disadvantage. But for the most part, you can hit everything else. That's something you want to be aware of. If you are in this little mound over here, if you back up to the little entranceway, you can see that you will be out of the shooting range of enemy tanks, or the view range is what they call it. Excuse me. Okay, let's continue. You can see that my allies did not take the right side, and it happens sometimes. So we have to be on the watch for enemy tanks that might run down there. One of the things you want to do is see how many enemy light tanks there are. There's 1 enemy light tank, and you can actually estimate how many tanks will come through here. If you know what types of tanks they have, you'll know who will come through, because only the fast tanks are going to come through. The MT-25 came through. He's a very clumsy tank. It's difficult to drive. You can see that there's a tank on the mini-map. I'm pointing my tank at him behind the rock. He's on the mini-map, but I cannot shoot at him, and I can't see him because he's outside the yellow circle. I'd have to advance about 15 meters to be able to see him on the computer screen, and he'll be behind that rock. Missed an easy shot. I think I remember this game. Wasn't that long ago. Now, you see where the Cromwell is. They can crawl up where he is. He's right at the base of an entrance to go up the road to climb this hill. There's a slope that you can climb, but you cannot hit it from this spot. You can see where I'm pointing the green dot is where the entrance is. In order to hit it, you have to be probably back here behind me, on the other side of this rock. So that it's see, he did go up. The Cromwell is climbing up. You can see that he did climb up the slope. And if I had been back there, I would have been able to hit him. However, being here means you have a better chance of hitting these tanks. You have a little bit of a better view over here. For example, you'll be able to hit this area where they will try. Enemy tanks will try to hide here. If they get hit coming down, they might try to hide over here. From this spot, you can hit those tanks, but from back here where the Cromwell is, you might not be able to hit those tanks over here. You might not be able to hit that tank over there. But you can hit the Cromwell down below. Now you'll notice I use the auto aim, but when I was ready to fire, I released the auto aim. I left the auto aim on in case he stops. If he stops, I would have fired with the auto aim. But because he kept on moving, I released the auto aim, and I was aiming for the rear of his tank. You don't want to go behind the tank. If you go behind the tank and you fire and he stops, you're going to miss. So you always want to have a little bit of the tank on your pointer. I switched to the little green dot because I hate that little triangle, and I think the green dot makes me think more about my target. You'll note that I'm out in the open. I have no cover. I have camo on the tank, camo on my crew, and a camo net. The tank destroyer is over in this area. He is within the white circle on the minimap, which means that it's possible that he can spot me. If he is outside that white circle, if he's beyond the white circle, and I fire at him, he will never spot me. So it's important to know that distinction. Excuse me. I seem to recall he's not going to live very long. Okay, so before I was adding, I was mentioning that if they come through here and they get hit, sometimes they try to hide over here. You can see that that's exactly what he's doing. And the Cromwell might not be able to hit him. I've got a better shot on him, which is why I came over here. Again, I came here to support my allies. You can see there's a shot coming in.
Enemy armor is damaged. Enemy armor is destroyed. Permission to engage.
One of the great things, and this is an important lesson, those tanks on the far side, when you hit them in that spot, he's going to retreat. And when he retreats, he's going to reverse, which means I don't have to re-aim on him. I will always be aimed on him while he's reversing, and I will be able to get a second shot. And if I have a fast reload, maybe even more shots. So if you're positioned on that cliff, you want to make sure you get out of there as fast as you can. It's very vulnerable. You can, okay, so he did sneak around that corner, but it's very vulnerable. You have to make sure you reverse and hide very quickly. And you can see he's running for cover because he's under crossfire basically. I got 2 kills. You'll note that I checked over my shoulder to see how my allies were doing off in the distance there. Now my ally is going to the other side. I'm going to watch his back. If I leave, it's because we've got the Cromwell, 2 Cromwells right behind me, and we've got the I don't know what it's called, the Waffenträger. So he's got enough cover, so he doesn't need me. Excuse me. But you can see that they need help, and someone's asking for help off in the distance, so I'm going to go help them. And you want to do this. In this area, when the enemy is overtaking your allies, they will expose themselves, just like this Cromwell did. And chances are a lot of them are probably going to make the same mistake. If you have a slow tank or a tank destroyer, like a Yag Tiger or a Tog, what you can do is when you leave the spawn is you can park somewhere in this area and you can cover this mound over here. So if the team crosses over the half, this mound, you know where the mound is, it's on the C2 area. You can take shots at them from far away, but as you get closer with a Yag Tiger or a Tog, there's a long time, perhaps a minute will elapse where you can't take any shots on the enemy. So when I have a slow tank, sometimes what I do is I set up over here somewhere, which is good because if they advance, you don't want to be up in front. You want to be back to have a safe retreat.
Target lost. Permission.
One thing you'll notice is that when the target was lost, I'm pointing at him on the mini-map. He's at 405 meters. He is beyond my spotting range. He went beyond the green circle. If he were within the green circle, there's a chance he would have been spotted. He doesn't have camo on his vehicle, but he might have camo on his crew. So there's a chance that I will keep him spotted. But once he goes beyond that green circle, I can't spot him anymore. So I have to move forward to keep him spotted. So right now I'm too far back.
Target unlocked. Target acquired.
You'll notice that what I did was, as he was reversing, I kept the auto aim on in case he stopped. If he stopped, I would shoot with the auto aim. But he didn't. When I was ready to fire, I wanted to shoot manually. But then what happened is he went forward again. And I was aimed at the rear, and I didn't want to miss a shot, so I hit the auto aim, which means it centered the gun again. And that's a very fast way to re-aim the gun, and that's why I do it.
Target unlocked.
Now you'll notice that even though I had the auto aim, my cursor is in front of the tank, and I'm waiting for it to reload, and I released the lock because I plan to shoot manually in front of his tank.
Got him.
Excuse me, please. Okay, so as you can see from this spot, I can hit the advancing tanks. They have to be within my yellow circle, so I can't hit. I can hit right at the edge of that hill. They'd have to be over the hill. If they're behind the hill, I can't hit them. But once they come over here, I can hit them. So I'm going to probably stay here and take as many shots as I can, and I'll take shots as them as they come down. But really what you want to do is you want to move that way a little bit more so that when they come through, I can hit them a little bit sooner because they might not come around. They might stop. In fact, I think that's what's going to happen. The other thing is you want to pay attention to the gun. This is not a good angle. It shows too much of my side angle. It's not a problem right now, but it will be a problem. The other thing you're going to notice is there's a white circle on the mini-map. That's the maximum spotting range. The 3 enemy tanks are beyond that white circle. So if I fire the gun, they will never spot me. So you can fire all you want and they will not spot you. Those 3 tanks cannot spot me right now.
Target acquired.
Oh, I remember this. Another tank showed up.
Armor is hit. Where'd they go?
Yeah, I remember this. Another tank showed up, and that's an example of camouflage. Like the CDC did not know he was there.
Target acquired.
Okay. First of all, you're going to notice that the guns of both of those tanks are not pointed at me. They are pointed at this tank. And his gun looks like it's pointed in the air. So they probably spotted him. The second thing you're going to notice, if you look on the mini-map, they're right at the edge of my green circle, which means I can keep them spotted. So what? But they're also within the white circle. I don't know what their green circles are. Because they are heavy tanks, the Oni, I'm probably outside of his green circle. They probably don't have coated optics. And they probably don't have situational awareness, and they probably don't have recon. They might have vents, I don't know. A lot of people don't equip their tanks because all the modules and equipment is expensive. And they probably don't have BIA, so they probably can't see me. Actually, I also have the camouflage net, which only does a little bit. It only gives you like 10 or 20 meters. And I have camo on my tank, and I've got camo on my crew, and BIA and vents. I've got all sorts of things decked out. They probably cannot see me, but if I fire, it increases the chance that they can see me. But if I'm outside of their green circle, they will not see me if I fire. So here's what you do. If you fire and you don't get the alert that they see you, remember what their range is. Looks like they're both at 402, and he's at 389. So if I fire the guns and they don't spot me, that means at 402 meters I can fire at them. Number two, keep them at 402. So if they advance, I need to back up, which I'm not going to do in this game. But as they advance, I can back up and stay hidden. If they disappear, you move forward until they're within your green circle, depending on their camo rating. Respot them, reverse, and then fire. So if they disappear, you move forward, spot them, reverse, so that you're at 402, which is out of their range, and then fire at them, and they will not be able to spot you, and you can shoot at them again and again and again. Okay, so apparently he stopped for a second. When he stopped at 368 meters, his camo rating improved. Even though he's within my green circle, I cannot spot him if he stops. Excuse me. The Oni is a large tank, and large tanks have very poor camo ratings, even if they're stopped. So you'll probably be able to spot him whether he stops or not. Okay, so they spotted me. We got 3 tanks. The IS-3 has the lowest hit points, but he's got really good armor. And I do have the armor-piercing APCR shells loaded, but I don't have faith that this tank will penetrate. We can check the penetration right now. It says 230. No, I'm sorry. That was a damage. 258. This other tank, the M46, I can easily penetrate. And the Oni, it's a lower tier. I will easily penetrate the Oni, especially because I'm hitting him head on. So you want to go for the M46 is a priority, or the Oni. Going for the IS-3 is a little bit of a risk. Now, because they have spotted me, I have to have the proper angle. You'll note that my angle has changed. It's not showing as much of the side as it was before. So I did change the angle while I was playing. What I will do is I'll grab the auto aim, and while I'm waiting to reload, I will check my angle and also check the reload. And if it's loaded, I'll fire the gun, and I know it will be aimed properly while I'll make adjustments to my tank. But you want to be careful not to adjust while it's aiming. But you do if you have to. Okay, so I have to change the angle. I have to reverse. The Cromwell is going to be in my way, but I have to reverse that way. I'm on a high slope, so if I reverse, I'm going to be going down a slope, and which will give me a small amount of protection. And I want to get behind this as much as possible. And also, line up so the bush is between me and them, and it will make it easier for me to disappear.
Target acquired. Penetration.
You notice I aimed, fired, and then I moved.
Target released. Permission to engage.
Now, even though I'm not under cover, I stopped. I'm watching the reload. I need another second to reload, and I'm going to let it aim in for a second because they're far away. If they were close, I wouldn't have stopped. I would have let it. I would have continued moving backwards until it was fully reloaded. But because they're far away, I wanted to aim in a little more.
Enemy armor is hit.
Okay, he hit the ground. He had a lousy shot. Why do you think he hit the ground? He's probably using the auto aim. And I'm in a position where the auto aim is going to make him miss, because the auto aim is aimed for the center of my tank, which is behind the slope. So that's a sign that he's not shooting with the sharpshooter mode.
Target unlocked. Target acquired. Enemy is hit.
I seem to recall, okay, so now the M46 went behind those houses. He's over here behind that area. I seem to recall that what's going through my mind right now is thank God he went that way. He's going to be behind all these buildings, and he's going to hide, and I don't think we're ever going to see him again. And I think we're going to chase down these tanks.
Target unlocked. That one didn't go.
Now, as you can see, the 3 enemy tanks at this point have all gone for cover. Okay, so maybe what's happening is I decided to hunt down that M46.
Target acquired.
And I knew it was safe because there's a slope on the land. Like, I could see the slope on the land, so I knew that they would not be able to hit me. Over here, when I was in that area, they could hit me because I was higher up on the slope. So I looked at the lay of the land and I said, okay, this is a little bit down over the hill. They won't be able to hit me, so I'll just go around. That's why I went backwards a little. Take some shots on the way. You'll notice that when I fired, I stopped, aimed, fired, and then I move again.
Enemy armor is destroyed.
Okay, so we capped the enemy. One thing I could have done, these objects were preventing me from shooting at him because I had the auto aim locked on, and I could have fired right through these objects that probably would have hit him. And what I should have done was aim manually. I reversed to get the auto aim because I saw the auto aim, it was going in and out, and then it disappeared completely, and then I reversed to get it again. I could have stopped and shot manually. I would have had better cover. But if I did that, I wouldn't be able to see in front of me while I was driving. That's why I did it. By keeping the auto aim and reversing, I can look at this type of a view, see the green triangle on that tank, plus keep an eye out for that M46. So that's why I did what I did. And you know, when people say don't use the auto aim, it's really stupid. Don't listen to them. If you can penetrate every tank on the enemy team, use the auto aim. I use it all the time. You can get far more shots than using the auto aim. I have a video that I am going to film that's going to show how to use the auto aim, and you're going to see advanced techniques that you've never seen anybody do. I never see anybody do this in a game. I can auto aim rapid fire through a little pinhole and nail tanks, and they can't fire back at me. And there's lots of other auto aim techniques that I have that the enemy is just helpless, and I don't see other people doing it. It's tricks that I've learned. I haven't recorded the video, but I played the games, so I do have the games already. Okay, this was the FV4202. This is a British Tier 8 medium tank. It's got 4 kills. I did 3,400 damage in this game, and I got 900 EXP. 3,400 damage on a Tier 8 is very rare. I played 17,000 games. I've played large numbers of Tier 8 games since the first 2 weeks I've owned a Tier 8 tank. It's very rare that somebody gets beyond 2,000 damage in a Tier 8 game. So getting 3,400 damage is really good. Also, one of the things that I know about playing, the more you survive, the more damage you're going to do. Because at the end of the game, you don't compete with your teammates for the enemy tanks. So the damage pool is smaller because they have lower hit points, the enemy. However, you have less competition to get those hit points. So you can do a lot of damage near the end of the game. Okay, if you have any questions or comments, please post below.